Greetings, Zuma. This is worse than I thought. We need the powerful gypsy Rosella. Can you have her here tomorrow morning?
I'll do my best, Puka.
Good morning. Okay, elves, here we are. Wonder Woman and I are going in first to get things lined up. You wait here until we send for you.
Yes, we are expecting Rosella, the Gypsy Queen, to arrive any minute.
Mr. President, Uncle Sam is here to see you.
I don't have time for him. I'm leaving for golf in 5 minutes.
He has Wonder Woman with him.
Oh, really? She's a 10, believe me. Why didn't you say so? Of course, let them in, let them in.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Wonder Woman, how nice to see you. I always have time for you. Please, come sit beside me.
No, Donald, but I have a favor to ask you.
Of course, anything.
We have some friends outside who have traveled a great distance to see you. May we invite them in?
Of course, Wonder Woman, anything for you. Make the arrangements.
Hello, untamed ones. Bless your hearts of wonder and the fire in your soul.
Welcome, magical Rosella. We have some very important work for us.
Show me this man.
Mr. President, your guests are here.
Oh, okay. Hello. Come in. Who are you? What do you want?
Mr. Chief Executive, this is my family. We are elves who protect the natural world. We have come to discuss the warming of the whole planet.
You mean climate change? Ha! That's a hoax created by the Chinese so they can make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive.
That is ridiculous. How can you say that? The ice caps are melting. The oceans are rising. The forests are burning. The planet is in trouble. And you say it is a hoax?
Get them out of here. It's a conspiracy.
Mr. Donald, this is Gypsy Queen Rosella, to whom you must respond from here forward.
Out.
Donald Trump, I've muted you and fixed you to your chair so that you must listen. We are putting you on trial today for abandoning human civilization. The planet is sick, and you have failed your duty as leader of the free world by pulling out of the world's efforts to take action on climate change. I've called upon American citizens to describe their responses to the climate crisis. First, representatives from the American West.
I'm stuck between the jitters and the blues that you can't grasp the basic science of climate change.
I've heard that around the world, melting glaciers, early snowmelts, and severe droughts will cause more dramatic water shortages than we already have.
I like your competitive attitude towards smart guys, Don. You got 'em all stirred up.
To me, it's horrible and disturbing that you tell more than 2,000 lies in a year. That is roughly 5 a day. We cannot trust anything you say. I saw this chart showing the number of false or misleading statements just since you became president.
I'm bewildered that your office doesn't even recognize that our forests, farms, and cities will face troublesome new pests, heat waves, heavy downpours, and increased flooding. I'm miserable, and others are too, that we will suffer more allergies, asthma, and infectious disease outbreaks.
We've known about the dangers of dumping exhaust fumes into the atmosphere since at least the 80s. These elevated worldwide temperatures are fueling longer and hotter heat waves, more frequent droughts, heavier rainfall, erratic weather patterns, and more powerful hurricanes.
Out in the West, an increase in the risk of wildfires is a given. It has never been this bad.
All those things will damage or could destroy agriculture and fisheries as we know them.
You use your position to divide people and keep them on edge. Your lies make me sorrowful for the effect this delusional behavior has on young people.
You are the president. Act on this climate threat. Don't make it worse.
96% of climate scientists agree that man-made elevated CO2 emissions are causing the Earth's rising temperatures, and it requires immediate action. Come on, boss, it's common sense. You need to wake up and smell the coffee.
I thank you, Western citizens. Next, I call upon citizens from the outer edges of our country.
The Arctic is warming much faster than the rest of the planet.
I am ashamed of our response to rising sea levels that will lead to coastal flooding, first in Florida and then on the eastern seaboard.
Poor coastal communities will be the first ones hit by climate change. Rich people can afford to move. Poor coastal communities often can't.
It makes me feel sick when I think about our rapidly warming oceans and seas, and the disruption to the beautiful coral reefs those changes bring. That nausea spreads when I think of the decreased snowpack in our mountain meadows from higher worldwide temperatures. Less snowpack means less moisture, which could drive many plants and animal species to extinction.
Whatever it takes to make more money is okay with me. I vote my pocketbook.
I'm depressed and hurt about the lasting damage we are doing because you withdrew from the Paris Climate Accord. That one action will possibly doom our planet by hobbling the Accord's hopeful momentum. You're reducing chances that correct actions will be taken in time.
Other areas of the world will be hit hardest, especially poor island countries, where we also have many of our 800 worldwide military bases.
We should stop exaggerating our differences with one another. We are more alike than different. In these times, we should be coming together as one tribe and learn to appreciate one another as members of one humanity here on Spaceship Earth. Only then will we confront our problems in a constructive way.
Thank you, citizens from the outer edges of America. Now, our friends from the East.
I like the way you make things up, President Trump.
I'm a climate scientist. You can verify climate change from 100 sources if you're inclined to learn the facts.
I got opinions too, you know. My opinions are as good as their facts, and that is a fact. Especially those wackos who are trying to make decisions based on science. Can you believe
Order
that?
in the court.
We don't need that secret science baloney.
You are not from the East, Old Red. You must leave.
I can understand why Old Red and others choose to deny climate change. First, the experts sell us on deregulating Wall Street. Then they sell us on globalization. So now Old Red is skeptical when they want to sell us on climate change. You, Mr. President, have capitalized on some of these very real concerns about experts and elites. But climate change is real. It involves all of us in a negative way. We scientists are only trying to report the facts. We are on your side. You and the other leaders must help the people understand that we need to take dramatic action.
Engineers and manufacturers the world over have done the planet a great service by decreasing the price of solar panels at a remarkable pace. Solar and wind are our planet's only hope. They have, in fact, become the cheapest way to produce power on most of the planet. You should be their champion. I'm discouraged and perplexed that you apply tariffs, making them more expensive.
Bring back those coal mining jobs, President Trump. Keep on draining the swamp.
Order in the court.
You will burn up my forests with your careless protectionism and defense of fossil fuels.
Special guest, the Dutch. There are so many holes to fill. The Dutch are just trying to plug up the dam. Thank you, Easterners.
You may recall that Puka has the gift, however she got it, of telling where the dead are and of summoning them in times of need.
As our first witnesses, I call from beyond the 4 greatest presidents.
Welcome, esteemed presidents.
Truth will ultimately prevail where there is pains to bring it to light.
I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past.
The government is us. We are the government, you and I.
My dream is of a place and time where America will once again be seen as the last best hope of Earth.
Mount Rushmore presidents? What say you?
This man has abandoned his duties as president of the whole people. We must guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism. He cannot make America great again. She is already great. He is a divider, the alternating dominion of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge, natural to party dissension, which in different ages and countries has perpetrated the most horrid enormities, is itself a frightful despotism. But this leads at length to a more formal and permanent despotism. Let me now warn you in the most solemn manner against the baneful effects of the spirit of party. You must bring the tribes together to solve the problems of this era.
The care of every human life and happiness, and not their destruction, is the first and only object of good government. Obviously, these times represent an unprecedented climate crisis. What is wrong with this man? What is wrong with this man? These fossil fuel corporations and private companies who are financing denial and refusing to pay their share of the national debt deserve the severest consequences. The sun never shone on a cause of greater worth. Posterity is virtually involved in the contest and will be more or less affected even to the end of time by the proceedings now. Now is a time to come together, America, and solve this crisis. I vote guilty.
This man and many of the moneyed interests holding sway on this country are protecting the energy sources of the last century with lies. I am mad. We have fallen heirs to the most glorious heritage a people ever received, and each one must do his part if we wish to show that the nation is worthy of its good fortune. Forests are burning, water sources are threatened. Changing weather patterns threaten what make this country the breadbasket of the world. How can leaders be so cavalier about the health of the planet itself? Is it too hard to think about? Your people travel around by burning old dinosaurs. The nation behaves well if it treats the natural resources as assets which it must turn over to the next generation increased and not impaired in value. What has happened to our citizens that we ignore this truth?
I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts. That is where the president comes in. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today.
Donald the Trump, I find you guilty. As your punishment, I change you into a duck.
Quack, quack. Quack.
We can forgive you, President Trump, for most things, but you must do the right thing for the planet. My conditions to change you back: 1. Behave like a president of all the people and bring the tribes together. 2. Deal with climate change to restore our planet, including rejoining the Paris Accord. 3. Root out the influence of big money. Until you agree to put your whole effort into my conditions, you must stay a duck. Donald Duck. Flap your wings 5 times, Trump, when you agree to the conditions, and I will give you probation from your punishment. All right, Trump, we can try this, but if you are lying, I will turn you back into a duck permanently.
Incredibly, Trump does as he is told. He begins therapy and becomes a kind and normal human being. The world slowly starts healing, and the happy elves go home.